September 2014. Two founders stand before the sharks with a single product, socks, asking for $200,000 to fuel a mission no one thought would matter. Minutes later, an investor takes the risk, and chaos erupts as Bombas's website crashes, losing $150,000 overnight. How did a sock pitch spark a retail revolution and force the company to reinvent itself under national scrutiny? The story is just beginning. David Heath and Randy Goldberg didn't set out to build just another sock company. The idea took hold after David read a simple fact online. Socks are the most requested clothing item in homeless shelters, yet rarely donated. That single insight reframed what most people saw as a forgettable accessory into a real daily need. The two friends, both working full-time jobs at the time, started asking questions. Why did shelters keep running out? Why weren't socks donated like coats or shoes? The more they learned, the clearer the mission became. They decided to launch Bombas with a promise. Every pair sold would mean a pair donated, but a mission alone wouldn't pay the bills. So they spent months redesigning the sock from the ground up, adding features like honeycomb arch support and seamless toes, betting that comfort and mission could work together. Their first big test wasn't a retailer or a celebrity endorsement. It was Indiegogo. The campaign set a modest goal of $15,000. By the end, they had raised $145,000, with thousands of backers and no paid advertising. Word spread quickly through social media and blogs, proof that the need and the product resonated far beyond their own circles. For Heath and Goldberg, this wasn't just a business pitch. It was a shot to show that a simple product could have a real impact. The early traction gave them the confidence to take Bombas to a national stage, but it also set the stakes higher. The next step would put their mission and their partnership under the brightest lights in business television. Bright studio lights glare off the polished floor as David Heath and Randy Goldberg step onto the Shark Tank stage, socks in hand. Their ask is bold, $200,000 for 5% of the company. The sharks glance at each other, eyebrows raised at the implied $4 million valuation. David passes out samples, inviting the panel to feel the honeycomb knit, a design meant to hug the arch without squeezing, paired with a cushioned footbed and a thick heel tab to stop blisters cold. Mark Cuban flexes the fabric between his fingers. Lori Greiner tugs at the seamless toe. Questions start flying. What makes these so different? Why would anyone pay $12 for a pair of socks? Kevin O'Leary leans forward, voice dripping with skepticism. "You are cockroaches in a sock market," he says. "There are millions of you." Robert Herjavec presses about sales channels. The founders fire back with numbers. $145,000 raised on Indiegogo, thousands of pairs shipped, and not a cent spent on advertising. They explain the one-for-one donation model, but the sharks keep circling back to margins, scale, and whether this is a business or a cause. The tension ratchets up with each exchange. Lori questions their plan to hire help, warning that they should be running everything themselves. O'Leary calls the valuation ludicrous. The product demo, meant to showcase comfort and mission, has turned into a gauntlet. But the founders hold their ground, their answers quick and measured. The air in the tank feels thick as the sharks weigh the product's promise against the brutal reality of retail. The next volley of offers and counteroffers is about to begin. Damon John leans in, breaking the tension with a direct offer, $200,000 for 20% of Bombas. This is the moment the founders have been building toward, a deal that could change everything. The founders hesitate, countering for a smaller slice. John drops to 17.5%, but only if they say yes right now. David and Randy exchange a look. The numbers sting, but the opportunity is real. They accept. The handshake closes the deal, and the studio erupts in applause. For a moment, it feels like everything is about to change. Then the real world crashes in. Hours after the episode airs, Bombas' website buckles under the weight of thousands of eager customers. What had been a steady trickle of daily orders turns into a tidal wave, far beyond anything their site can handle. Pages won't load. The checkout freezes. Product images break. In the scramble, the founders watch helplessly as order after order fails to go through. The surge cost them an estimated $150,000 in lost sales and emergency repairs, nearly wiping out the fresh capital from their Shark Tank deal. Daymond John is now officially their partner, but the celebration is short-lived. The founders, still running on adrenaline, are forced to confront the limits of their operation. The deal that promised a leap forward instead exposes a system on the brink. The shockwave from the show leaves Bombas with a stark new reality: fix the cracks or risk losing everything they have built. Bombas' turning point came not from a new ad campaign or a celebrity shout-out, but from a technical reckoning. The Shark Tank surge had exposed every weak spot in their system. With thousands of orders failing to process, the founders brought in an operations lead with one directive: never let the site crash again. The first order of business was to move off their old patchwork platform. After weeks of late-night calls and cost comparisons, they chose Shopify Plus, a decision that meant abandoning custom code for proven reliability. The migration was not simple. Every product, order history, and customer account had to transfer without a hitch. The team pushed through, racing a deadline set by the next scheduled Shark Tank rerun. The real test arrived on Black Friday. Instead of the slow trickle they had once known, over 100,000 orders poured through in a single weekend. No downtime. No frantic emails. For the first time since the show, the technology held steady, letting the team focus on shipping socks instead of firefighting bugs. The relief was palpable. Bombas had outgrown its startup roots, and the company was now built for scale. Behind the scenes, the new operations head coordinated the first major retail contract. Negotiations stretched for months, but the payoff was a national shelf presence, proof that Bombas could compete outside the digital world. With a stable backbone and a retail pipeline, the company moved past survival mode. The mission could finally reach the scale the founders had imagined, and every new order, whether online or in store, became a promise kept. Bombas' mission did not just survive the chaos of Shark Tank. It became the engine for something far bigger. By 2023, the company had donated 50 million pairs of socks to homeless shelters across the United States, a number that keeps climbing every year. The scale of their impact is hard to overstate. Shelters that once rationed socks now receive regular shipments, and Bombas has built partnerships with hundreds of organizations to make sure every donation lands where it is needed most. One partner described the difference in simple terms. For many of our clients, new socks are more than comfort. They mean dignity. The numbers behind the business are just as striking. Lifetime sales have crossed $2 billion, making Bombas the most successful Shark Tank company to date. Annual revenue topped $250 million by 2023, and the brand now reaches customers in every state. But for founders David Heath and Randy Goldberg, the real payoff is not just in the sales charts. They often point to the letters from shelter directors and customers who buy Bombas because of its mission, not just its comfort. Asked what they would tell new entrepreneurs, the advice is direct. Prepare for everything. Answer every hard question before someone else asks it. And when things go wrong, and they will, do not panic. Learn, fix it, and keep going. Their story proves that a simple idea, carried out with relentless focus, can change both a business and the lives it touches. Today, Bombas stands as Shark Tank's top-earning brand, with over $2 billion in sales and more than 100 million items donated. The line between profit and purpose keeps blurring, reminding us that consumer choices now shape both markets and movements. Every purchase can still mean more than a product.